Hi, this is your friend Suna Senman, again speaking on psychology and spirituality. And we were speaking about ego defenses. And to really understand the ego, please go to my other video and where I explain it. But the ego defense of denial is what I want to bring up now. Denial is a kind of cutting yourself off, because as we had said, the ego is like the small self. It's an imagined self, but it's the self that we relate to in society a lot. What is your profession? What type of person you are? All that. And your real self is what you experience. When I do couples counseling, we learn to speak in my experience and my feelings, because you can't argue about that. You can't deny that. If you say, I feel put down when you do whatever you do, that feeling is real. Now, if you say, you put me down by doing blah, 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 that's not real. So this is an example of how we depart from ourselves in our real experience of who we are, and we try to start putting labels like, you know, you're an ego person, or you are always putting me down type of thing. You're trying to define what's out there instead of living within yourself. We do a lot of denying, and that is whenever we dissociate from ourselves. When we deny, we depart from who we really are, what we're really experiencing. And why would you want to depart from yourself? I think because we've been talked into we're not good enough. We have to become something. We have to develop ourselves into something. So we feel embarrassed of who we are. But we are what we are. We feel what we feel. Actually stop and pay attention to what you're feeling right now from what I'm saying. I don't know if you may be feeling any kind of shame or anger or wanting to argue. Whatever you're feeling, that's your feeling. Embrace it. Embrace it. That's your feeling. Then you can go deeper and you can ask yourself, well, where's this feeling coming from? Why am I feeling this way? And now we're going into our rationalization, but we're going to go deeper than that. When you figure out where or why you're feeling this, where that feeling is coming from, then go deeper. Ask again, where did that origin come from? Why did that come about? Be with it, breathe with it, and go deeper again. Why did I feel this origin? Where was that coming from? Keep breathing, going deeper, feeling every feeling. And as we are feeling these emotions and aspects of ourselves that is oftentimes coming from our ego, thank the ego. Thank this little self for bringing you into that experience where you could learn from that experience. Thank it and allow it to guide you like a little child into the playfulness of how we interpret our experiences, how we interpret our situations, and recognize that it's playfulness. It wants to take it serious. Just like you may have a 5-year-old child that says, "Oh, we have to run away from the monster. The monster is chasing us from that tree." And you know it's playfulness, right? But you have to make it real in order to engage in the emotions of it and the feeling of it and to start running from it, right? So you make it real with this 5-year-old child and you run away from it. That's our playfulness. That's our playing. So a lot of our emotions is our ego child playing with us. If you can see that as the adult that decides, oh, I'm going to engage with this 5-year-old and run away from the monster that's coming at us from the tree. It's joyful, right? It's a joyful playfulness that you decide to do. And you can also decide not to engage in that playfulness. Say you had to get dinner on the table and you'd say, look, you know what, I've got my protective force field on here, so I don't have to run from the monster now because I'm going to make dinner, right? You're still respecting the childlike imagination, and they're engaging in the reality of a fantasy. You can do that with your own emotions as well. You can say, yes, I know you want me to be afraid right now that I'm not going to be able to pay my bills at the end of the month. But right now, I have a task of fixing dinner. Or I've got my force field up where I know that the sun's still going to rise, things aren't going to fall apart. I'm just going to move through this next situation, whatever it is, and perhaps help will come along some way. I'm open to that. I'm open to help coming along somehow and making things ends meet at the end of this month. Thank you for playing this little game, and yes, it is exciting to raise my chemical levels involved in fear and go in that chemical high. But right now, I think I'm going to stay grounded and do what's at task right here, right now. And thank you for wanting to play with me, little ego, little self. Maybe we'll play again later. And you can always decide to play or not to play. It's kind of fun having this little self playmate with us. And yes, denying what's real, that you are here in this moment, breathing, and as you breathe, every possibility in the world is open to you. But it's fun to be in the denial play as well, and feel like you're not safe, feel like there are monsters coming at you from behind the trees or behind the checkbook. You can play that as well. Just know you can choose. You can choose. And who you truly are is there in your breath. It's in your breath with you. Feel your breath now. Take a big breath in. And know that is you. And just as you can imagine scary things, you can imagine joyful things. You can imagine the most beautiful sunny day that you've experienced and feel the warmth on your skin. Feel the light against your face. Feel that comfortable, warm buzz in the air. Maybe hear some birds. Hear those birds that were there with you on that sunny day. Perhaps an ocean breeze hitting you. The rustles of the leaves in the trees. The feeling of the ground beneath your bare feet. Sandy or hard or grassy. you choose. Feel this memory of bliss and peacefulness and joy. Feel it. It is also a game that you play. It's the joy game that you play, the peace game that you play. It is a blessing that is yours to access whenever you'd like. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and go forward with these wonderful playfulness in today, whichever games you choose.